Tap here.
Tap here.
And then once he grows up, he's like this.
Oh, okay. So he goes from like this.
And then once he grows up,
Then he grows up
to be this.
like that. Yay. That's so cool, bud. Hey everyone. Hi. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about new releases, new book releases, particularly in historical fiction. I'm excited because I like to keep up with the book market, and my favorite genre, if you will, or subgenre is historical fiction. And so it's fun to see what's coming out, if there are any themes in terms of historical, like time periods or character arcs or even sort of plot ideas that have any kind of commonality in what's coming out. And I'm excited. I don't know. I just like looking at this kind of stuff. So anyways, if you are new and you have never watched one of my videos, then maybe you should know that my name is Shelly and I love reading. I read a bunch of different kinds of things, but historical fiction is one of my favorites. And if you're liking what you're watching, maybe stick around. Maybe subscribe. And without any further rambling on, let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. I have a couple of different resources that I am working with. The first is a New York Times article entitled "Lose Yourself in Rich, Evocative, New Historical Fiction." They had a very slim list of 4 titles that I'm going to chit-chat about the titles with you today. And the first one is this teeny tiny little book. It's a novella that's only 66 pages and will cost you almost $16. So it is called The Cannibal Owl. This is by Gwyn. And it says, in Comanche folklore, there is a terrifying giant bird that swoops through the night looking for naughty children to devour. Okay. Oh man, they call it a powerful novella. It is following a young boy named Levi English, who is 11 years old, and he runs away from a frontier settlement in the spring of 1828. He's adopted by one of the leaders of the Comanche band, and though he is tolerated, he's never fully accepted, probably because he is an outsider. There is going to be a test of loyalty, and I'm sure the story continues from there. Or I don't know, maybe that's the whole story because we're only getting 66 pages. I was like, if I was just thinking about whether I was interested in reading it, the fact that it's so short is making me think, oh, it's just a quick little read. I could definitely do that. But then I also think, my library hasn't purchased it. I'm on a no-buy. I'm not buying books this year. And so I would have to purchase it myself, and $16 seems steep. If I wasn't on a no-buy, I would have to purchase it myself. And I was thinking, gosh, $16 is very steep for a 66-page novella. Some of which I am sure they're including, like, I don't know if they're including the copyright page and the title page, and I'm like, is it 66 pages or is it like 54 pages? We don't know. Anyways, the story sounds fine, but overall, not something that I'm super interested in. This next book sounds only part historical fiction. It's called Floreana by Midge Raymond. This is going to be about the so-called, the Times is calling it the so-called Galapagos affair, which is what the author does is invent a dramatic explanation for what is still the unsolved deaths and disappearances that occurred on a small island in the southern Galapagos in the 1930s. So what Raymond, our author, does is take a contemporary narrative, a biologist named Mallory who's trying to save the island's endangered penguins, And with the testimony of Dory, maybe, a German woman who came to the island with her lover between two wars, hoping to create their own private paradise. So we're getting the story of one woman's past and another woman's interest in it because of her desire to save the penguins, right? So we're linking these two together, and from there, it sounds like it explodes from there. Maybe not the best choice of words, but so it says anguished journal. So it says Mallory discovers hidden in a cave a document in which Dory charts the arrival of a more conventional pioneer family, as well as a sexually voracious baroness and her two attractive male companions. The mounting tension that engulfs the island is mirrored by that of the present-day research camp, where past liaisons and current secrets keep everyone on edge. And then it goes from there. I don't know. It seems they're not really selling me on it, you know? I want to see a write-up like this and feel like, haha, this is for me. And, you know, I'm like, that sounds like a lot in a book. And you have to be a pretty good writer to be able to pull off a premise like this and have all of it work seamlessly. I don't know. This next book, I absolutely fell in love with the cover, and it's sucking me in, and the premise sounds fantastic. It's called Boy by Nicole Galland. So the reason why the title sucked me in is that it looks like a painting. It looks like an Elizabethan painting because the character, it's painterly in quality. The character has this incredibly high, gorgeous, stiff collar, and this stunning pale face with a perfectly rosied cheek. And then there's boy across, you know, as the title. And the O in boy is focusing in on the eyeball of this character. So it does indeed take place during the Elizabethan age. And it is a real life character that Galahad was interested in. The character is a boy player of female parts in Shakespearean plays, rather. And the character is now aging out of being able to play this role and is seeking aristocratic patronage. The main character is named Alexander Sander Cook. And he has been feted for his androgynous beauty. Anyways, so as this character is at this transitional point in his life, the answer could depend on Joe Buckler, his Sanders' childhood friend, who has all the intellectual equipment, so obviously lacking in charming but feckless Sanders. So they're perfect opposites of each other. Insatiably curious, she, Joan, has befriended London's best apothecaries and amateur botanists, not to mention the most experienced midwives and herbalists in Southwark. So they befriend all these people. Sander says that confides in his best friend Joan that he doesn't know how to be a man. And she'll wind up being his tutor in that department, as well as several others. So I don't know. I like this question of gender. What does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be androgynous? Having someone that's struggling with that in the Elizabethan age sounds like such a Shelley book. The last book the New York Times is offering us is The Case of the Missing Maid by Rob Osler. So this is Osler's debut book that is supposed to be a part of a mystery series, a historical mystery series that is following Harriet Morrow, who is living a life of hiding in plain sight. It is 1898, and we are with the Chicago Prescott's Discovery Agency. While they are not ready for a female junior field operative with certain sexual inclinations, its owner is willing to give a trial run to a maverick 21-year-old sporting sensible shoes and a bowler hat as she zips around on her prized Overman Victoria bicycle. This sounds like a whole heck of a lot of fun. I think that if Osler is able to create a really fantastic and wonderful main character, this is giving Jacqueline Winspear vibes? Winspear vibes? Oh my gosh, I can't even reference the thing that I'm trying to reference. Jacqueline Winspear vibes. Maisie Dobbs. Oh my gosh, the Dobbs series. Okay, that's what it's feeling like, but with a little bit of a twist. But the Dobbs series. Okay, I am currently reading the Maisie Dobbs series. Macy Dobbs, or is it Maisie? I'm reading the first book in the Dobbs series by Jacqueline Winspear, and it's going well, but there's this really wonderfully complex main character, Maisie. Anyways, and it's set, I think it's set right around World War II, so a little bit earlier, and it's set in England. They're like, we go and see the Thames in the Dobbs series. But anyways, this is set in the United States a little bit after World War II, but it sounds like we're following a similar kind of main character. Oh my gracious. One that doesn't conform to society and is just trying to make her way in the world. I feel like I just plucked that out of thin air, but that's the vibe that I'm getting, and considering how famous or how wonderful the Dobbs series is, Jacqueline Win, I don't know, the Winspear series is, I wonder if Osler is trying to create something similar, but with their own vibe, I guess. Yes, baby cakes. All right, I have 6 books left for you. I've found them through my own research. The first being The Paris Express by Emma Donoghue. I've read 2 previous works by Emma Donoghue, Learned by Heart and The Wonder. Donoghue writes pretty short books that are around 300 pages. Often they are historical fiction, and often she does at least with the 2 books that I've read, they're gripping, really interesting, have fantastically well-drawn characters, and keep you really invested throughout. I don't know, she just has this way of writing that really kind of sucks you in and keeps you gripped. And the books never overstay their welcome, at least from what I've seen at the 300 pages. So The Paris Express, is based on a real disaster of terrorism that happened in 1895, wherein a person boarded this train and had a homemade bomb. And apparently this disaster went down in history, but it was captured with surreal but extraordinary photographs. There was a photographer on the train at the time, and so all of this went down, and we can see photographs of this actual disaster. So her book is based on an actual disaster, and in it we are following a large and dynamic cast of characters from all around the globe. And it seems like all of them have their own issues, but they're coming together because they're on this train, and because this train ends up going into this disastrous direction. I don't know. I just know that I really love Donoghue. And when I saw something of hers that has come out from such a seasoned and well-regarded author, even in my, both in the public and in my own heart, I was like, oh, that looks good. It's touted as literary fiction, Canadian fiction, and historical fiction. A little slice of American history comes up, and it is called The Antidote by Karen Russell. Russell wrote Swamplandia, which I believe is touted as a Southern Gothic book. It was a finalist for the Pulitzer when the Pulitzer didn't have a winner. The Pulitzer board could not name a winner that year. They couldn't agree. So she was in this 3-way tie with other writers and books out there, and Swamplandia, I believe, was one of those books, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, so Karen Russell's new book is The Antidote, and it is in a Dust Bowl era Nebraskan town that is buried by the Great Depression and its dark past, a witch guarding memories, a grieving athlete. Oh, these are the characters. A witch guarding memories, a grieving athlete, a cursed farmer, and a photographer with a time-bending camera. They all grapple with buried secrets and consequences of a nation's forgotten history. Okay. It's like, oh my goodness, it kind of reminded me of the napping house. And it was like, and the dog who woke the cat, who bit the grandma and fell off the bed. Anyways, okay, so that's just how it is. It's supposed to be historical fiction. No, of course it's historical fiction. That's what this whole video is about. It's supposed to have magical, realistic elements in it. And I think that that is kind of fantastic. So I've never read anything by Karen Russell, but maybe I should start with this, The Antidote. What do you all think? Another really good cover, and it is 33 Place Brugmann by Alice Austen. I think it's just because I did a drawing recently where it was like a crosscut of a house. I don't know. I worked on it for weeks and it was fun. If I have a picture of my drawing, I will pop it up. But anyways, this is set during 1939. And we're in Brussels. This home is in Brussels. And one might believe, our main character, Charlotte, might believe that the fortress-like apartment building will spare its residents from the worst history. But as we know, no one was spared in 1939. So we're following a huge cast of characters, and as the Nazis continue their relentless march across Europe, the residents arrive at the sobering realization that they are subject to the, vicissitudes? I don't know that word. I don't mind learning. Vicissitudes. I don't know. We'll see.
Vicissitude.
Oh, I was right. Vicissitude. They are subject to the vicissitudes of history just like everyone else. It is arranged in a symphony of voices, and this is the author's debut. Sounds interesting. It's told in multiple perspectives, and this looks interesting. Okay, this next book sounds amazing, y'all. It's called The Pretender by Jo Harkin. The cover is amazing. The colors, these like pinks and reds blended together, these two beautifully beautiful faces. Again, that little rosy cheeks, the font that they used. I feel like they are marketing to the Shelleys out there. They're marketing to my soul. I cannot even. So this is the second book by Harkin. We are in the we are not in the 1900s. We are in the 1400s, the late 1400s. And it is said that this peasant boy, Lambert Simnel, is believed to be the nephew of King Edward IV and Richard III. And he's been hidden away in an obscure village for his safety. But now the Yorkists are plotting to overthrow Henry Tudor and crown Lambert. All this stuff. The thing that got me that I'm just like, what in the world is that this razor sharp historical novel is on par with Hilary Mantel's Wolf Hall. Them's fighting words, y'all. Them's are fighting words. I cannot with my soul right now. My heart is double beating for this book. My gosh, this sounds amazing. Okay, I have a couple of translated works that are historical fiction. This is Sons and Daughters, and it's by Chaim Grade. And this, actually, Grade passed away in 1982. So this is what it is. So finally available in English is Grade's sprawling novel, which was originally serialized in the 1960s and 70s in two New York-based Yiddish newspapers. So if that sounds intriguing, this is also a slice of history that's now been translated into English. So it dissects a Jewish family in the early 1930s Poland that was torn apart by religious, cultural, and generational differences. So we have the head of the family, a hardcore traditionalist rabbi, a couple of Yiddish poets, some secular freethinkers that are divorced, that are divorced from the laws and language of the Torah. And so you have this cast of characters that I think that they're all a symphony of voices around, what is happening with Jewish life through all of these perspectives, but also encroaching upon World War II and what happens then. Okay, I'm overexcited. I'm so sorry. So in sustaining his densely detailed, closed-in, slowly advancing narrative of over 700 pages, Grand, our author, embraces modernism on an epic scale. He had planned a second volume, but died before he could write it, or complete this abruptly ending book. That might be a turnoff. I don't know. I don't know. What do you all think? Unfinished works. So it's an unfinished work, 700 pages. Recently translated into English. Obviously, I feel like this is the passion project of an author, of somebody who believed in this work, who maybe had read it in Yiddish, and translated it as something that they had wanted to do for a very, very long time, and finally did it and believed in this work. So I wonder what kind of audience this will find. I wonder if it's really that good. But that's what it feels like it's telling me. The last book is another translated book, and it is entitled The Mysterious Disappearance of the Marquis of Loria. This is by José Donoso, and Donoso actually passed in 1996. So again, an older work that has been translated very recently. So this is, all of a sudden, Blanca has everything. She is Nicaraguan, and she marries this incredibly wealthy, young, beautiful heir to a Spanish fortune, and she has everything. But then her husband dies on cue of diphtheria, leaving our young protagonist alone, free, and inconceivably rich. It is about the Marquise of Loria and her sexual awakening, with all her riches, and trampsing off from there. It's supposed to be explicit, so just know that going in. Haunting, suspenseful, and again, I will fast-paced, richly detailed, unputdownable, and I will flash the translator on the screen. So you have the translator as well. But this, it sounds fascinating. All of it sounds fascinating. The results of a pitch-perfect tale of sex and intrigue. So something different. I don't usually read books like that, but I do like a good historical fiction work of all different kinds. So maybe it's time. But anyways, that is it. That was my last book. And now my boys are trying to get Harry out of this room, so chaos ensues.
Grandpa wants me to play Uno, but I said no, that was dropping the cards one by one.
He is?
Yes.
Grammy. Okay, well, I clearly have to go. Thank you for spending this time with me. I really appreciate you. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye.